Hello everybody, this is Jasmine for the Embassy of Peace, sharing inspirational real life stories. In the previous videos we talked about my mother's passing and my father's remarriage and never being too old for love, and techniques to work with as well. And we want to go on in the theme of there is no such thing as death, because we have another video to follow on after this, which is very relevant message for our world. Finally, after my father enjoyed this time with his second wife, having manifested her, really working with quantum intelligence, but in a way that he felt was more with the angelic energy that he loved so much, he finally left his body. And I was in darkroom retreat, because this is something many of you know we do regularly every year. And there's something incredible about combining the energy of a lot of strong meditators. And when we come into this heart-brain pattern of coherence where everything can open up to us, because we feel more of our multidimensional nature that is all-knowing, all-powerful, and is everywhere. And I remember sitting in dark room, in darkness, in meditation, and suddenly I felt this beautiful energies coming in, and it really was like the beam me down in Star Trek, for those of you who love Star Trek. And there were my mum and my dad together. And it was so beautiful for me, because again, they both looked like they were about 35, because that's how they holographically like to present. And they were standing there holding hands, and there was so much love. And they just looked at me and just said, wow, we had no idea. There was so much we had no idea of, but now we've dropped our bodies. Now we're out of the density of earth. Now we can see with a much higher perspective of all the lives of our children, and why you came to us, and what you're doing in the world, and so much more. And we just want to say we love you, love you, love you, and we support you and support you and support you. And we had this most beautiful connection. And for me, it was like, yay, they found each other, they are together. It was just beautiful. And for me, it was so interesting, because many years before that, I had been working in Germany and having some quiet time as well. And my publisher, Conrad, of my German books, he said, how about we go to a concert tonight? And let's go and see Nina Hagen. She's an amazing singer, and at that time she'd moved out of the punk rock and roll scene and into a phase of her life where she was really connecting with sacred music, and particularly with Babaji and bhajans. And we met and said hello to each other that night, and I went to take my seat in the audience, and there was about maybe 1,000, maybe more people, a lot, maybe even 2,000 people. They were just a full auditorium. And it was interesting, because there was her old crew who loved her punk rock version self, and then there were the new ones who were really open to sacred music. And she handled herself so well, and her musicians were so incredible. And as she was playing this sacred music, the punk rock people would go, Nina, punk, and she'd go, no, this is Babaji time. And she just kept singing and playing, and it was a musical feast. And I noticed how this sacred music was just entraining people, because I love the energy science of entrainment, where the dominant frequency brings everything into a new harmonic. And that's my interest. So she was bringing everyone into their heart, and they were singing these bhajans, and I was like, in bliss, because sacred music, when it's played live with brilliant musicians, which there were there, is just such a vibrational expansion, and it touches you, locks you into the angelic realms, especially music that is sung with your heart, really open heart, and people get into their heart and they drop the analysis, they drop, they relax into the heart, and then all these realms can open up. And I died. My husband was sitting beside me and friends on the other side, and suddenly I was so deep in meditation that I died. And so my husband, he likes to take my pulse now and then. And he must have taken my pulse, but he felt a shift in my body and he squeezed my hand. And that dropped me out of this realm of I have no idea what was there, into another level. I just came down in frequency. And I found myself in a field of light. It was just light. Everywhere was just light. Oh, and there were these presences around me, I just find myself going back into the experience. There were these presences around me that were just so divine and so beautiful, and they just said to me, "Are you ready?" What? Are you ready? Let go. Come with us. What do you mean? They said, "You've completed what you were born to do. You can just let go now. Come with us." For me, it was such a shock. It was like, can it be that easy? I'm sitting in a rock concert or a sacred music concert, and the energies are so incredible. I went into ecstasy and I'm in a healthy body. Can I just drop it? It was too shocking, almost unexpected. And I said, "Can I have a moment to think about this?" And they just went, "Yeah, okay, take your time." And so mental energy came in, and the first thing I saw were headlines. Jasmuheen dies at Nina Hagen's concert. And I went, oh no, I can't have that. Poor Nina. She doesn't want to be known as somebody who, was in an energy where Jasmuheen died. That's not good. Then the next I saw my husband lovingly shipping my body home to Australia, and my children coming, and my daughters, who are now in their 40s, but then were younger, but I could see that even though they were shattered, they'd be okay. They'd be okay, and that my husband would be okay, so that I could dismiss those scenes. And then the next thing, I felt these souls around me, these beautiful flows of consciousness of the most amazing beings who I knew were going to be my grandchildren. Then I got excited, especially with one particular soul that was around me who I knew was coming in to my family, partly because I would be this one's grandmother. And I got so excited, and I thought, yeah, I may have done a lot in my life. I may have completed what I was born to do, but I've never been a grandmother this life. Can I stay? It was just, the souls around me were just divine. So just yum, yum, yum. So I just said to these holy beings that were around me, that were part of the Ascended Master Matrices and other light beings, I said, I know you say that I've completed what I was born to do. And I know I can just say yes and let go now and go with you. But can I stay? I really want to stay. And they went, okay. And that all scene just disappeared. And I was back fully present in my body. The concert continued, and I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Can it be that easy? Full consciousness, just no longer with this body. Just drop it, let it go when the time is right. No disease, nothing. The answer was yes. And a week later, my husband and I were in Italy, and again, I nearly died. This car just came out of nowhere and zoomed in, and I had to hit the brakes and let it pass in front of me, because obviously we were in its blind spot in a tunnel, and it really would have been a Princess Diana type exit. And so I said to the Holy Ones, hang on a minute, I chose to stay. Can I really stay? If your time's up, is it up? And I thought, maybe I'm being tested, and maybe I just have to say, all right, if my time is up, in that I've finished my contract here, maybe I need another contract. So I was like, I went into prayer and meditation. It was like, okay, what's my new job? I am here, I am on earth, I have chosen to stay. I may have completed what I was born to do, but what is my next job? I am here, I am ready, I am willing, but I just want to be involved in something that is really beneficial and for the highest good of human evolution. Give me a job. And it wasn't too much later that I heard in meditation again this loud voice saying, prepare them for contact. That's your new job. Let's talk more about that in this next video. This is Jaz Maheen for the Embassy of Peace, just sharing with you that there is no death, and we cannot leave this world until we have completed that which we are born to do. And this dropping of the human body is nothing to be feared, because these beautiful light beings always say it is so much easier to die than to be born into this world. So much easier to leave it and go into this full remembrance and expanded awareness of who we really are, which is so much more than just this physical body. Thank you for listening.